Marvel just dropped a new Thor teaser, and tickets are now on sale. So get them before they sell out, because they will. It's probably the most hyped Marvel movie of this year, and July 8th can't come any quicker. The teaser hints at a new team-up, Gorr sizing up Thor, and an Avengers-esque final battle against the villain. So yeah, it's jam-packed. But is it worth watching? Stay tuned to find out. First up, we're getting the greatest team-up ever. So let's break the teaser down, shall we? The most important thing we gathered from it was that Thor's going to assemble his own team to take down Gorr the God Butcher. There's a scene where Thor is giving a speech to a bunch of people, and he says that there's a maniac that seeks to kill them all. And this got us thinking. It's likely that Thor may go up against Gorr earlier in the movie and lose, or he might see Valkyrie go up against him and fail to take him down. Either way, it'd be reason enough for him to call on his old buddies to assemble, and we code the greatest team ever. He's not wrong though. He enlists the help of his best friend Korg, King Valkyrie, his old space pals the Guardians, and the old ex-girlfriend Jane Foster, who's now Mighty Thor. We've got a lot to say about her, but we'll come back to that. Now, from what we've seen so far, Thor Love and Thunder feels more like an Avengers movie than a standalone Thor flick, and the trailer's tone suggests that it's going to be quite similar to Ragnarok. It's going to have some epic battles, but with Taika Waititi's signature quirky humor peppered in here and there. If that isn't a good enough reason to watch it, then perhaps this is. Next, Thor's flying goats got their own poster. Look, we love Gorr the God Butcher's poster reveal. He's tall, he's scary, he's badass. He's Christian Oscar winner Bale. But Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder got their own poster. We're a teensy bit more excited about that right now. The goats look equally badass if we're completely honest, and they look adorable with their warm eyes and sharp horns. We love how Waititi has incorporated the flying goats into the movie. After all, Thor's always had them in the comics. They were introduced way back in 1976 and pulled the God of Thunder's chariot across the realms, taking him wherever he needed to go. With the inclusion of Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder, Waititi is both expanding Thor's MCU mythology and giving diehard fans what they've always wanted: more comic-accurate stuff. And speaking of comic-accurate stuff, we've got Jane Foster as the Mighty Thor. And now, Natalie Portman's Thor is awesome for the right reasons. Okay, for starters, Marvel Comics fans loved Jason Aaron's The Mighty Thor comic run that featured Jane Foster as the new Thor, so she's already pretty popular among fans. Aaron created a fantastic story arc. Jane Foster had a depth that fans hadn't seen before. Long story short, Thor loses the ability to wield Mjolnir and later finds out that it's Jane who can now wield the hammer. So, Thor gives her his blessings to operate as Thor while he himself starts going by the name Odinson. But there's a catch to Jane being the Mighty Thor. You see, prior to her acquiring the hammer, she gets diagnosed with breast cancer. She goes through chemotherapy sessions and makes some progress, but there's a complication when she wields the power of Thor. Every time she picks up Mjolnir, the drugs used in her chemotherapy sessions are pulled out of her body, since they're rejected by the hammer's magic. This makes for a compelling character. On the other hand, she wields the strength of Thor, and on the other, she's getting weaker every time she picks up the hammer. Waititi is incorporating that story arc into Jane's subplot in the movie and making one of the oldest MCU characters even more significant during Phase 4 and possibly 5. And we're loving the added depth to her character. Up next, Taika promised us the MCU's best villain, and test audiences agree. In an interview with Fandango All Access, Waititi revealed that Gorr received the highest score of any Marvel villain from test audiences. What we're hearing is that Gorr is a better villain than Killmonger or Baron Zemo, two of the highest rated villains in the MCU. We're legit hyped now, guys. The reason why villains like Killmonger and Zemo were so well received is that they were sympathetic characters. You knew why they did what they did and how much they suffered. Waititi says that Gorr's the most sympathetic character that Marvel has had so far. We know Gorr isn't really killing gods because he likes it. He's killing gods because of what happened to him on his planet. And that's one reason why audiences loved him so much. He's got depth, just like Jane Foster. Finally, the most played moment from the official trailer. We're gonna cap this off with an absolutely perfect reason to watch Love and Thunder. It's that scene from the official trailer. You know the one, the most played bit. And no, Zeus, you didn't flick too hard. Seriously, we want to meet Taika just to thank him for putting that scene in the movie. We were expecting a chiseled Hemsworth, and how could we not? It's a Thor movie. But when the Greek god casually flicked off his robe, we kinda squealed, and we're proud of it. The man's taken his physique to the next level. His shoulders look like basketballs, and his arms arms look like they were carved by Michelangelo himself. Chris Bumstead would give his physique a 10, but we give him a thundering 11. So, in the end, we've got Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder, a compelling Jane Foster subplot, a villain that test audiences really loved, and a badass Avengers-esque team to take him down. It's obviously gonna be epic, guys. Waititi understands what makes a good MCU movie, and this time, he's shooting way past Ragnarok. And now for some other news. Wait, did Arthur Harrow really die? Ethan Hawke has an answer. Arthur Harrow totally got shot by Jake Lockley, right? It seems pretty straightforward, but Ethan Hawke says otherwise. In an interview with Comic Book, he teased that Harrow sure didn't seem dead to him. Now, why would he tease us like that? But hold on, there's a precedent for it. Remember, Stephen and Mark were essentially resurrected by Taweret in the finale, and this is the MCU. If Bucky can turn up alive, then so can Arthur Harrow. Hawke's been amazing as a villain, so we're sure fans would be eager to see more of him in the MCU. Even though Marvel has said that the show will be a limited series, the finale's post-credits scene sorta sets up a second season. It's kind of a package deal now, right? Sure, Oscar Isaac and Hawke's contracts didn't extend past season 1, but who's gonna say Marvel simply won't extend it later on? Only time can tell for now, but one thing's for sure, there's some serious backstory to explore, and a second season could do just that. Next, Pakistani rapper reacts to Ms. Marvel featuring her song. Ms. Marvel's first episode ended with a banger. The end credits featured gorgeously rendered graffiti dancing across walls and featured Pakistani rapper Eva B's song Rosie that's gonna get your heart pumping. Rosie has Pakistani and Indian musical influences and was produced by industry veteran Ginger Shankar. And Eva B did not drop the ball. Her vocals are on point as she delivers a flawless anthem on women's empowerment. Imagine being featured in a project as huge as a Marvel show that streams to millions of households around the world. It probably feels super surreal. Eva B took to Instagram to share how it feels to be featured in a Marvel show, and she feels great. She wrote that she's lucky to be featured in the first episode and gave credit to Shankar for making it possible. We love that for you, Eva. Keep churning out those extremely catchy anthems. And lastly, Thunderbolts is officially happening. It's official, guys. Marvel's going ahead with their version of the Suicide Squad. Phases 2 and 3 have seemingly been setting up the Thunderbolts all along. For longtime fans, this is great news, since we could possibly be getting another R-rated movie. Marvel boss Kevin Feige is producing the movie, and Black Widow writer Eric Pearson's gonna write the script. Hopefully, we're getting a true team-up between morally grey villains and badass anti-heroes. There's no report of any cast members attached to the project, but we can sort of guess who might make the cut. Obviously, there's Daniel Bruce, Baron Zemo from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Florence Pugh's Yelena Belova, who's the new Black Widow. And then there are anti-heroes such as Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp, Elektra and the Punisher from Daredevil, Ghost Rider, Luke Cage, and even Taskmaster from the Black Widow movie. The movie's still in development phases though, so we're not sure who'll make it to the final product. But one thing's for sure, this'll be Marvel's answer to James Gunn's highly acclaimed The Suicide Squad. We're excited. And that's a wrap. Thanks for watching.